Hey all, and welcome to a new episode of Talk from the Beard. Today we're going to talk about racism and why I believe that organizations such as the Hollywood Oscars Award are racist. What do I mean then with racist? Well, there's two definitions of racism: the old school classical racism and the new school postmodernist racism. According to Merriam-Webster, the definition of racism is a belief that a race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. Basically, this means that if you believe that the color of your skin determines how you are as a person, based on their skin color, are less worth than other people, are less intelligent, are lesser human beings, are worth less than other people based on skin color, then you're a racist. According to the new theory of racism, it basically means that if you're oppressed, you can say and do pretty much whatever you want, and if you are in a position of power, basically if you're white, you're always a racist. It doesn't matter what you do, how good you think you are, how nice things you do, you're a racist, based purely on your skin color. Some of you might see that this might be classified as racism on the old school way of racism, because here you say that someone is something based on their skin color. So doesn't this make all these new school postmodernists racists? No, because they just redefine the word to suit them. But if, God forbid, someone on the other side did the same redefinition, then that's just pure racism, isn't it? We are going to focus mostly today on the old school classical good old racism that we all know and love. Now that we cleared that up, let's see how we can decide if something is racist or not. Well, I have my own little test that I call the Goodwin test. I've based this from an internet phenomenon called the Goodwin's Law. The Goodwin's Law, or Goodwin's Rule of Hitler analogies, is basically an internet phenomenon that assesses that as an online discussion grows longer, probability of comparison involving Nazis or Hitler approaches. That if an online discussion, regardless of topic or scope, goes on long enough, sooner or later someone will compare something or someone to Adolf Hitler or his deeds. My version of this Goodwin's Law is my Goodwin test. Basically, if you can take a word or a sentence in a comment, in a post on Facebook, in a tweet, and replace the subject in the post with the word Jew or black, and it just makes you really cringe and say, that really sounds racist, or that really sounds like something Hitler would have said, or something you could read in Mein Kampf, then in my book that's racist. So let's take a few examples, and we're going to base this on an article about the Oscars awards and the new rules for Best Picture nominations. This article is from the New York Times, and the title is "The Oscars' New Diversity Rules Are Sweeping but Safe." Let's see how safe they actually are. In 2015, after the Oscars announced a set of 20 all-white acting nominees, the then president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences was asked whether the group had a diversity problem. Not at all, the leader Cheryl Boone Isaacs replied, not at all. So, basically the Oscars went back to the drawing board after pressure from certain groups and devised a list of criteria to see, are the Oscars diverse enough? Because for some reason, the quality of acting is in your skin color or the pigment of your skin or the background of your nationality, not in just how good you are as an actor. Let's look at some of these stipulations. The first set of stipulations are: at least one actor from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group must be cast in a significant role. Again, this basically means that you have to have a certain pigment or a certain ethnic background for some reason. The story must center on women, LGBTQ people, a racial or ethnic group, or the disabled, because again, we have to tell a story about these people, otherwise you can't win an Oscar for Best Picture. Hello? Or at least 30% of the cast must be actors from at least two of those four underrepresented categories. You only need to fulfill one of these three categories to get your stamp of approval from the new wave of not racists. Let's see if any of these are problematic. If we start with the first one, at least one actor from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. Well, in theory, that sounds really nice, but as we'll see when we go through this, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Let's imagine that it was the opposite. We had a cast of completely racial, diverse people. So basically, a movie of only black people. Would it then be that you have to cast a white actor as well? Or does this only go for people who are non-whites? Is this because there's more whites than non-whites in the world? Or is this just a new speak for that only whites can be racist? Number two, the story must center on women, LGBTQ people, a racial or ethnic group, or the disabled. Okay, so basically we say that these people should get special preferences, that if you make a movie about these people, then it should list higher than a movie about, say, like Erin Brockovich, for example. That should rank lower than if we did a movie about Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump. The last one is at least 30% of your cast must be actors from at least two of those categories. Well, again, if we turn this around and say at least 30% of your cast must be white, that sounds very racist to me at least. I don't know about you, but to say that at least 30% of your cast must have a certain skin color, I don't know. Standard B is focused on hiring behind the scenes and looks at least one of these following criteria. Two or more department heads, meaning jobs like director, cinematographer, or composer, must be female, LGBTQ, disabled, or part of an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. Again, what does this have to do with your qualities as a filmmaker, studio head, or key grip, or lighting expert, or whatever? And again, if we remove female or LGBTQ and say two or more department heads must be white, this sounds very racist to me. The same with the next one. At least 6 other crew members must be from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. Again, if you say, well, sorry, you can't make this movie because you don't have at least 6 white people in your crew. And the same with the last one, with the 30% of the film's crew must hail from the 4 underrepresented groups. Again, you're basing this on skin color and ethnic background and your gender, not on your qualities at all. And then the last one is the film's distributor or financing company must have at least 2 interns from an underrepresented group. So again, we check this against my Goodwin test and say, why does it have anything to do with the quality of the movie if we have, let's say, 2 white interns? Why does that affect the quality of the movie at all based on that they happen to be white? So why then are these new rules so problematic? Well, in theory, it all sounds very nice on paper. You should be more diverse, more inclusive, and so on and so on. But as we saw in the old school version of racism, that basing anything on the color of your skin or your ethnic heritage is very close to being racist. As I said before, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I at least feel that as soon as we start categorizing people based on their skin color or ethnic background, then we come very, very close to what they did in the 1930s in Europe. And is that really a world we want to get back to? What happened to the more modern, inclusive, and naturally diverse world that we were heading to, where we stopped seeing the color of your skin or your gender, where everyone could be whatever they want and not be hampered by your background or the color of your skin? How can it not be racist to judge someone or give someone special treatment based on what nationality you are or what ethnic group you belong to? I at least can't see how this can lead to anything good. What do you think? Please like or dislike if you agree with me or not, and please leave a comment down below and argue with me all you want. Until next time, take care.